Good afternoon. We're here today to celebrate the life of Karim Zaman Malik. On behalf of his family, may I welcome you all, including those who are not physically here, but who may be joining us on a live webcast. They include Karim's son, Marvin, in Mexico, his sister Melanie Jane and her husband Andy, and Karim's friends Chris and Ali in the United States. Warmest greetings to you all. My name is Mary Whelan. I am a civil celebrant and will be leading Karim's ceremony. Karim was a man much loved by his family and friends. Today is therefore a challenging day because it is the time to say a final farewell, and therefore a poignant and sad occasion. However, Karim lived a full life. He loved and laughed much and shared many good times with those he cared about. Karim had made it clear to his family that he wanted his send-off to be a celebration. Yes, his loss is sad and so very hard, but hopefully you will find comfort as we honour Karim, reflect on his life and times and all that he shared. Who was Karim Zaman Malik? He was a man of many parts, a dearly loved brother, father and grandfather, a family man at heart. He was a wonderful friend, an amazing artist, a ladies' man who loved his clothes and took enormous pride in his appearance. He was a joker, a rebel. He was passionate about music, a lover of animals and the great outdoors, a huge football fan, particularly of Arsenal. But first things first, his story began when Asif Zaman Malik, a handsome, dashing pilot for Pakistan International Airlines, got chatting to English Rose, Pearl June Morris at a dance. One thing led to another, and the couple married. Karim was born in Paddington, following big brother Lawrence, known as Laurie, and sister Nina. 3 years later, little sister Sharon was born. Pearl had a yearning to bring up her children by the sea, so the family moved to Margate in 1963. Sharon said they had a lovely childhood. She recalls joyous family picnics, strawberry picking, days out at Dreamland, relaxing on Westbrook Beach, and absolutely brilliant family Christmases. As a boy, Karim always loved the outdoors. Nina said he was known as the stone collector because every visit to the park he would fill his pockets with stones. Sharon can remember a fun family holiday to Wales to visit their auntie Nora. They slid down mountains and she remembers Karim chasing her with frogs. Karim went to school at Garlinge Infants and Juniors and then to Hartstown. As a teenager, he enjoyed his holiday job in an ice cream parlour on Margate seafront, proud in his white uniform. Karim excelled at sport and loved playing football. He took an interest in boxing and was a lifelong avid Arsenal supporter. At school, he competed in athletics and cross-country events. Back in the classroom, he was very bright and even won a school poetry prize for the princely sum of 75p. He always had interests. He had many friends, and they were often out and about enjoying the great outdoors, fishing, bird watching, and camping. As a boy, Karim was extremely artistic and developed and practiced his talent, encouraged by his family, especially his mum. He produced some stunning work, demonstrating keen powers of observation and expert draftsmanship, although he played down his skills. He loved wildlife, nature and animals, and they often featured in his pictures. His work was sometimes shown in local galleries. Karim was extremely kind-hearted and caring. He donated the proceeds from one picture sale to the NSPCC, and he was a stalwart supporter of Battersea Dogs and Cats Home. He loved foxes and used to feed foxes near the winter gardens and make short films of them. When one was killed on the road, he made a homemade coffin and buried it in his back garden. Like the rest of his family, Karim was passionate about music. He was particularly keen on soul and rhythm and blues. He even chose 3 of his favourite songs for us to hear today. Karim worked as a waiter at the Grosvenor Court Hotel, where he had a lot of fun. Like his dad, he was loved by all the ladies. Sister Sharon said he was a bit cheeky. He had a very good sense of humour, just like their mum, with whom he used to joke around a lot. Mum and son also used to do crosswords together. Karim ended up working on the railways as an engineer. He married Leslie in the 1980s, and they had son Marvin, who lives in Mexico, with his partner, and Karim's grandson Diego. Karim and his second wife Maxine had son Curtis, who gave Karim his beautiful granddaughter Lola. A week ago today, a second grandson, Louis Adam Karim, was born to Curtis and partner Amanda. Karim spent 14 years with girlfriend Anne-Marie and helped bring up her children, Jamie, Shay, and Elena. When Karim was first married, he lived in Ramsgate, but then moved back to Margate. He was highly sociable and enjoyed going out, meeting friends and family at the Old Kent Market and tucking into Sunday roasts at Olby's. Sharon said her brother often fooled around, but had a serious side too. He was also something of a rebel. Karim, a diabetic, was diagnosed with lung cancer in 2023. He underwent chemotherapy and spent a week in hospital with sepsis. One Friday night late last year, Sharon had a sense that she had to visit her brother. She and Craig arrived to find Karim feeling not at all well. Sharon was concerned and called the paramedics. While she was talking to them, Karim collapsed on the floor, not breathing. He was having a heart attack. Craig stepped in and administered CPR, effectively saving Karim's life, guided by the paramedics until the ambulance arrived to take Karim to hospital. Karim fought back, but sadly, his health steadily declined. He was cared for throughout by Sharon, Nina, Craig, and Gary, supported by medical staff and carers. Karim received exemplary care from staff at the Pilgrims Hospice. For a couple of weeks, shortly before his death, peacefully at home, with his sisters beside him. His family would like to especially thank the hospice nurses, district and diabetic nurses, and carers for all their help in looking after Karim. Karim made friends with a few of the nurses and still had an eye for the ladies, said Nina. He also kept his sense of humour through it all. When she had asked her brother if he'd come back to haunt them, he chipped, "Yes, I might swing by on the hoist." Sharon said, "We always had a laugh with Karim, and he always looked out for myself and my sister. He was protective. He was a good brother. He was very kind-hearted, and he would always help someone if he could." Goog, one of Karim's oldest friends, will now share some of his memories before we hear a piece for Karim specially commissioned by Sharon.
About 4 months ago, I walked into the hospital ward where Karim was lying in bed, and he was sitting up, still able almost to walk at that time, and he was talking about how he hoped to get back to his flat, you know, which wasn't likely at the time. We had one of those conversations that felt natural, easy, just like any conversation that you may have had the opportunity to have had you been as fortunate as me on that occasion. We spoke about old times, about different things. Karim, as many of you may know, because of his mum's really good cooking, was a bit particular about his food. And I reminded him of a time when we were about 14, when we walked into a posh restaurant in London, just a bunch of teenagers. The waiter brought what was a beautifully prepared spaghetti bolognese and put it in front of Karim. But Karim, he took one look at the melted cheese, that Parmesan cheese on top, and it was all stringy, which some people love, but Karim hated it, just wouldn't touch it. So he flatly refused to touch any of this food at all. Well, the rest of us, we cleared our plates without any pause for thought. The waiter came back and his eyes were wide open. He was shocked that in this posh restaurant, this dish in front of Karim hadn't been touched at all. It was definitely not a "my compliments to the chef" moment. Karim was offered sandwiches instead, which he refused. But we of course said, "Don't worry, Karim, we'll eat those." And I can honestly say they were the best sandwiches I've ever had. That was Karim, quietly stubborn, but somehow giving us a gift in the process. We laughed together in that hospital about other times, another occasion when 5 of us went camping, and we spent what felt like hours trying to put up a tent, only to realise that once we put it up, it was inside out. We struggled and we spoke and we tried to get it back together, and eventually we did, but the joy of struggling together and making memories still made us smile decades later in that hospital. That day in hospital, me and Karim were happy in each other's company, but because of his prognosis, I knew that the diagnosis was that it wouldn't last long. And I'm absolutely certain that if any of us had been in my position at that time, we would have had just as much of a nice time while he was in that talkable, chatty Karim situation. But soon after he was admitted to the hospice, visits from friends became just too much for him. Some of us here maybe, some of us on the stream may have had that situation where he literally couldn't have any more people come and see him. So instead of another visit, I recorded a message to send to him on WhatsApp. But it wasn't just from me, really. It was also from others that he had quietly kept at a distance near the end. Even people that he had faithfully sent a card to every year, he couldn't bear himself to see those ones. The message was in some way small. It was a small message from all of us who loved him, but couldn't be there with him in person at that time. The day or so before he passed, Sharon lovingly played that message again to him, and although he didn't need to, he said he was sorry and that he loved all his friends. This message is going to be played now.
Karim, we want you to know that many people deeply respect and admire you, not just for your intelligence, but also for the love you have shown your friends and the passion in your art, the warmth and laughter your humor brings to those around you. We understand that right now, with how you're feeling, meeting up with old friends can feel really hard, and that's completely okay. Please don't forget that even when it's tough to connect in person, the positive impact you've had on many lives remains strong and lasting. You've touched more hearts than you might realize. and that love and respect haven't gone anywhere. You are valued, Karim, just as you are.
Thank you, Goog. A piece for Karim, specially commissioned by Sharon, acknowledges the great loss of Karim, the immense love for him, and the high esteem in which he was and is held. A piece for Karim. Grief is not a puzzle we can piece into a place. It's not a test of logic or a timeline we can chase. It's love with nowhere left to go, from a heart that can't forget, from wounds that bear the name of Karim, who is in our quiet debt. We try to reason through the storm, to put the fire out, but grief still sits beside us, wrapped in silence, wrapped in doubt. The feeling that I miss Karim doesn't need a fix, just needs more air and grace to speak his name without retreat, to hold a special place. We'll hear a song and weep again as a moment hurts our soul, not weakness, but remembering one who had made us whole. Our mind may question, why aren't I over it now? But grief has no clock, no finish line. We are learning to allow. We laugh, we cry, we walk through days with both hands holding weight, joy and sorrow side by side, the bitter with the great. And in the stillness, meaning grows from tears we couldn't hide. His echo lingers softly in the places love resides. So let's feel the loss and own the love and not rush the ache away. Grief is not our enemy. It's a price that we must pay. A bond too deep for time to fade. In our soul, he will still remain, not in the past, but in our steps while walking through the pain. So let it ache, let it flow, and let it sing in its own key. There's no map, no perfect answer, just hurt that we still see. Our pain's not wrong. It means we care. It means we tried, we gave. Grief is not a problem solved. It's a price of love we pay. So we say to grief, please don't ask for logic. Please let us have more space for breath, for memory, and courage to keep loving in that empty place. Karim's son, Curtis, put down some heartfelt thoughts following his dad's passing. These are his words. Dad, a man who I became proud of in the end. I'm glad you left with us becoming friends. A man of wisdom and his own ideas, comforted me through some of my fears. I miss you, Dad. You were one of a kind. A very unique man, I'd say. I hope you don't mind. Different from the crowd, but that's okay. You are my dad, and for that I'm proud. We will meet again, of that I'm sure. But for now, Our hearts are sore. With love from Curtis. Will those of you who are able please stand? We have reached a time when we must say goodbye. In recent months, Karim struggled with his health, but he is now pain-free and at peace. Karim's older brother, Lawrence, and sister Jasmine have sadly both passed away, along with his beloved niece, Gina, Nina's daughter. They are remembered today as Karim is reunited with them and his parents. Karim would always ask Sister Sharon to close the curtains as she left in the evening, even if it was still light, so he could relax for the night. Sharon and Nina were both beside Karim as his life slipped softly away and the curtains closed for his final repose. Karim Zaman Malik, with profound respect and abiding honour, we commit your body to its natural end and bid you farewell. No longer physically here, all the love for you and the many happy memories of you will live on. Please be seated as we listen to the second of Karim's music choices for the ceremony. Karim was loved and cared about by you all. The memories that he made with you and all that he meant to you will stay in your hearts and minds. Those times with Karim will always be a part of your lives and a part of his legacy to you. May they provide you with some comfort as time goes on, softening the raw edges of grief. Above all, Karim lives on in his sons and grandchildren, not least being new arrival little Louis Adam Karim. May thinking about Karim, his kind heart, his sense of humour, carry you on and make you smile. You are all invited to share further memories, listen to more of the music Karim loves so much, and raise a glass to him at the Odds in Hawley Street, Margate. Do bear in mind his message to Nina about today. Karim said he didn't want anyone crying into their beer.
Grief is not a puzzle we can piece into a place. It's not a test of logic or a timeline we can chase. It's love with nowhere left to go, from a heart that can't forget, from wounds that bear the name of Karim, who is in our quiet death.
We try to reason through the storm, to put the fire out, but grief still sits beside us, wrapped in silence, wrapped in doubt.
The feeling that I miss Karim doesn't need a fix, just needs more air and grace, to speak his name without retreat, to hold a special place. We'll hear a song and weep again
our soul. Not weakness, but remembering one who had made us whole. Our mind may question, why aren't I over it by now? But grief has no clock, no finish line. We are learning to allow. We laugh, we cry, we walk through days with both hands holding weight. Joy and sorrow side by side, the bitter with the great. And in the stillness, meaning grows from tears we couldn't hide. His echo lingers softly in the places love resides. So let's feel the loss and own the love and not rush the ache away. Grief is not our enemy, it's a price that we must pay. A bond too deep for time to fade. In our soul he will still remain. Not in the past, but in our steps while walking through the pain. So let it ache, let it flow, and let it sing in its own key. There's no map, no perfect answer, just hurt that we still see. Our pain's not wrong, it means we care, it means we tried, we gave. Grief is not a problem solved, it's a price of love we pay. So we say to grief, please don't ask for logic. Please let us have more space for breath, for memory, and courage to keep loving in that